You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened here today. And when you get out of here, you...
Hey, everybody. Welcome back, True Believers. Another episode of Good Cinema. We got Big Jeff, who I don't know, he might be here for a short time, but he's here for a good time. And we got W. Boggs 18, Will. So, and oh, yeah, Big Jeff is Adamantium Blade Comic Collectible. So, I always call him Big Jeff because that's what he says on there. But anyway, we're reviewing today. We're reviewing the movie No Country for Old Men, starring Javier Bardem, Tommy Lee Jones, and one of my favorite actors of all time, Josh Brolin. All right. And he really, like, this movie actually was when I started, like, I knew of him. Like, you know, I knew who Brolin was because he was in the Goonies and because he'd been on TMZ a lot because he used to get in a lot of fights when he was alcoholic. And his dad is James Brolin, who's married to Barbara Streisand. And if you don't know who James Brolin is, he was the star of such movies as Amityville Horror, the original Amityville Horror with Margot Kidder. So, and he did a lot of movies. And I guess more famously now, he's probably more known for being married to Barbara Streisand, one of the most famous singers in the world. But anyway, and that's Josh Brolin's stepmom, not his biological mom. But what we're going to do first is we're going to watch the. I want to ask my guys on here, how are you doing today? Are you having a good morning?
I'm still waking. I'm off of work. I'm happy, but I'm still waking up. So
I'm having a good morning.
An hour to wake up.
Yeah, having a good morning now. Waking up to reviewing No Country for Old Men, one of my favorite movies of all time.
And I want to give a shout out to our usual co-host, Madam, or we call her Stephanie. She lost one of her pets the other day. Had 15 years, and she had to put it down at the vet. So
we're thinking about you, Madam.
Yeah, we're thinking about you. I talked to her this morning. She's doing a little better. She showed me She showed me her Longfellow sculpture. She did it in a day, Jeff, and it looks fabulous. Wonderful.
Oh, wow.
So she's got a lot of talent.
She already
and I can't wait to meet her at Heroes Con and hang out with her. Her and Lady Fantastic, Christina Payne. We love you guys, and hopefully she'll be back next week because next week we're going to be reviewing. Well, I'll give you a hint of what we're reviewing next week. Well, I'll just go ahead and do it. I'll play a video clip, and you'll know real quick what we're reviewing next week, next Thursday.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women. That
is that the Conan movie with Will Chamberlain?
No, that will be on Bad Cinema because that one's terrible. That's Conan the Destroyer. This one's Conan the Barbarian. They tried to PG it up, the second one, and it didn't work. Although, I mean, I still think it's entertaining. I don't get me wrong. But actually, you know what's ironic? This is going to be the first actual movie that we reviewed that's based on a pulp novels and comic books. So it's going to be interesting. So I can't wait for that. But without any further ado, I think Jeff's brought it up down here. We're going to watch the trailer for No Country for Old Men, which was released in 2007.
Let me ask you something. What's the most you ever lost in a coin toss?
Look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything. Just call it friendo.
Friendo.
Llewelyn,
can we say that this movie probably resurrected Josh Brolin's career?
This guy happened to find that money.
Probably, yeah.
I got a bad feeling, Llewelyn.
She was in the movie Trainspotting, by the way.
It's a mess, ain't it, Sheriff? If it ain't, it'll do.
She's Scottish, but you couldn't tell she's Scottish.
I'm looking for Llewelyn Moss.
You go up to his trailer.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about Javier Bardem, he's got this
do you want to leave
he's
a
got
message?
this whole like ominous like look to him. You know what I mean?
I don't come back until
Like just this look of determination all the time. He never really, when he smiles, it's even creepy.
Got a loose cannon here.
You think this boy Moss He's got any notion of the sorts that are hunting him?
Man, that dude's so scary in this movie.
Ought to. He's seen the same things I've seen, and it certainly made an impression on me.
Just how dangerous is it?
Compared to what? The bubonic plague?
The crime you see now, it's hard to even take its measure. It's just all out war.
The bubonic plague.
You can't stop what's coming.
That's true, man.
That's
true.
Supposed to be the ultimate badass.
You don't understand.
Yeah. I got to ask you a firearm question after we watch the trailer, though. I got to ask you a question about the gun. Because I've wondered this the whole time I've watched this movie, every time I watch it. Okay. Call it. Tommy Lee Jones is great. Is he dead?
No, he's still living.
No.
No, he's still alive. But do you know that Tommy Lee Jones graduated from Harvard University? I did not know that until I was researching this film. I'll tell you what, okay. I do miss him. I think he retired, I think is what she meant. All right. Sorry, madam. I'm sorry, Lady Fantastic. He just retired. Yeah, he retired from acting, unfortunately, which he's just one of the greatest actors. I always liked him in the Fugitive, where he's like, I want you to check every doghouse, outhouse, in-house with a 100-mile radius.
All the Sicario movies too are fantastic.
Oh yeah, and Brolin's in that one, right? He's in the first one.
Yes. They're so good.
Emily Blunt, I think Emily Blunt's in it, and
the second one, I think
Benicio del Toro's in one of them. Yeah,
I love Benicio del Toro's character too.
Yeah, and of course, if anybody doesn't know what Sicario means, it's basically an assassin for a drug cartel. That's like Pablo Escobar and Sicarios. They're the worst people you could imagine. Imagine if, like when they call John Wick the boogeyman. These guys are boogeymen. That's what they are. That's what they do for a living. They don't care who they kill. They can't. And the thing is about this movie, it's like, I had a question about the shotgun. Okay, he's got a shotgun. He's got a big cylinder, like silencer on it. Now, was he shooting slugs out of that thing or something, Jeff? Is that why it was able to do that? Or could you actually use a silencer?
Are you talking about when he? Are you talking
the
about
right gun he's got? Yeah. No, he's got like a right, like sawed-off shotgun, and he's got a big cylinder on the end of it, like a silencer.
Yeah, it's just to suppress the noise. Yeah, that's all it is. But he's firing slugs out of it. You can make silencers that'll fire buckshot or whatever you're shooting, and it'll still be fine. All it's meant for is noise suppression.
All right, he jacked those guys up with that gun too. I remember that part. Now, the one thing, this movie it's kind of like, it's got a mood to it. You know what I mean? It's very, the atmospheric. He set the tone for the film at the first of it, just by what Tommy Lee Jones does, that narration part, right? And talking about how he remembered the old lawmen and they didn't carry guns, and he loved talking about, and you can always tell this guy's, he's been doing this for years. He's been the sheriff of this Texas town since he was 25. He's getting ready to retire, and he's seen a lot of things, but it's like, the last 10 years, like, it seems like he's seen more than his fair share of stuff that he thought he would never see in this job.
Yeah, and, I can speak to his character through experience. As you progress, years in the job, it starts to to change you. It starts to
hey Brian,
it starts to wear on you. It makes you have a distorted view of the world.
Yeah. And it's like, but it's like, okay, especially if you think of the time period this movie takes place, was in the mid 80s, like early 80s, like 82, 83. You got to think Tommy Lee Jones is what? And it's supposed to be in his 70s, I guess. He's getting ready to retire. So he's been doing this since 25. So let's go back. That would be like, what, the 40s or something? He would have been the sheriff of this town?
Something like that.
Well, you know what I mean, 40s and 50s and 60s. So he's seen it.
He's a multi-generational, sheriff.
You can imagine, though, there wasn't really a big drug cartel present and probably in this town in the 40s and 50s. And then I say the late 60s and the 70s is when it started, the uptick started happening. And then in the 80s, you get more. and other things going on. Like I'm sure he see, like if you live in a border town like that, another problem you're going to have is you're going to see a lot of these coyote, they call them coyotes, and they're like smuggling people into the country, and people die when they walk them into this country. They got them in, and but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm not. We're not going to get too much into it. I'm not trying to get into a debate, but I'm going to share.
Yeah, everybody knows what's going on at the border.
The Wikipedia here, and I'll read off. We'll read off the Wikipedia. I think I can share the Wikipedia. It's the videos I have trouble with.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll show some clips from the movie that I have. Although it was hard to get small clips because there's a lot of dialogue in this film. All right, and it's coming up. There we go. I'll read it off here. We got. Also, this movie was a novel originally, and it was written by. It's called, and it was okay for the novel. See, No Country for Old Men. That's what we're talking about. It was written by one of my favorite writers, Cormac McCarthy. The movie was filmed in 2007. It's a neo-Western crime thriller. That pretty much describes it. It was written, directed, and edited by Joel and Ethan Cohen, based on Cormac McCarthy's 2005 novel. Starred Tommy Lee Jones, Javier Bardem. Okay, there's Tommy Lee, Javier Bardem, and Josh Brolin. The film is set in the desert landscape of 1980. Okay, it's 1980, West Texas. So it's a border town. The film revisits the themes of fate, consequences, circumstances the Coen brothers had explored in previous films, like the very good Blood Simple, which is an excellent film. And that's their first film, Raising Arizona, which is hilarious. I love that movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, and Fargo, which is a great movie as well. And it was a good series. Follows the main characters, Llewelyn Moss, played by Josh Brolin, a Vietnam veteran and welder who stumbles upon a large sum of money in the desert. Anton Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem. There he is with a Dorothy Hamill haircut. But it looks all right, I guess. And they said he was, I'll tell you a story about that later. He's sent to recover the money, and Ed Tom Bell, played by Tommy Lee Jones, who's the sheriff. The film also co-stars Kelly MacDonald, who plays Brolin's wife. And Kelly MacDonald is a Scottish actress, by the way. And you cannot tell by her accent in the movie at all that she's Scottish. But she was in her first film that I remember seeing her in was the 1996 film starring Ewan McGregor, Trainspotting. So if you go back, if you've never seen Trainspotting, it will be on Good Cinema soon. But I don't know how much we can show of it because it shows a lot of people injecting drugs. So we'll see how that goes. And also, Woody Harrelson plays Carson Wells, a bounty hunter seeking Moss to return the money as well. This movie premiered at the 2007 Cannes Film Festival on May 19th, 2007. It became a commercial success, grossing $171 million worldwide against a budget of $25 million. Critics praised the Coen's direction and screenplay. Bardem's performance in the film won 76 awards. They had 109 nominations from multiple organizations. It won 4 awards at the 80th Academy Awards, including Best Picture, 3 British Academy Film Awards, or BAFTAs, 2 Golden Globes. The American Film Institute listed it as an AFI Movie of the Year, and the National Board of Review selected it as the best movie of 2007. It is one of only 4 Western films ever to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. The others include the Western Cimarron from 1931, Dancing with Wolves in 1990, and Unforgiven in 1992, directed by Clint Eastwood. It's considered one of the best films of that year, of course, and many regard it as Coen Brothers' magnum opus. As of December 2021, various sources had recognized it as one of the best films of the 2000s. Guardian's John Patterson wrote, the Coens' technical abilities and their feel for the landscape-based Western classicism reminiscent of Anthony Mann and Sam Peckinpah, that's pretty high praise, are matched by few living directors. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone said that it is a new career peak for the Coen brothers and is entertaining as hell. Okay, now, like we went over the plot, and we got the cinematographer was Roger Deakins. It was edited by Roderick James, music by Carter Burwell. But we'll get back to that because there's not a lot of music really in it. But I'll tell you what I think is really the soundtrack in a minute. It was made for $25 million and grossed $171 million. All right. Now, Okay, that's enough for now. Let me see if I can find the trivia. If there's any trivia about it. Now, the title is taken from the opening line of a 20th century Irish poem by William Butler Yeats. The poem is called "Selling to Byzantium." This is no country for old men. The young in one another's arms, birds in the trees. Those dying generations at their song. The salmon falls, the mackerel crowded seas. Fish, flesh, or fowl, commend all summer long. Whatever is begotten, born, and dies. Caught in the sensual music, all neglect. Monuments of unaging intellect.
Interesting.
All right. I didn't really understand. I'm sorry. That's a little bit over my head. I'm not that smart, I guess. All right. Anyway.
Went over my head too, brother.
Anyway, it's a very stylized movie too. Like it's just got this vibe to it. Okay. It just has this this movie made Javier Bardem in the States. He's well known in Spain because he did a movie called The Diving Bell about this rider. But over here in the States, this really brought him, to the mainstream. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I was just going to say, you said it has a certain atmosphere. And when I first saw this movie back in 2007, it stunned me. I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then when I found out that the Cohen Brothers had also did, when they did, I found out that they also did Fargo. It clicked to me. I was like, of course, those same guys did Fargo because Fargo has that same, I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
It's just the way that,
it's got the same vibe to it.
Yeah.
And Lady
it's
Fantastic,
like
I'm sorry
the extraordinary
for
set in an ordinary setting.
I'm sorry I called you Madam Lady Fantastic. I talked to her this morning just to check on her because she lost her dog, and I just got her on my mind. So, but we love you too. All right. I'm sorry, Jeff. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just didn't want to. I felt bad for calling her that. All right. The movie. Yeah. Okay, that was considered the Byzantine Empire. That's what it's called. The Byzantine. Yeah. Okay.
The Byzantine.
I said it wrong, but yeah, I knew that.
We know what you meant.
Yeah. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right. Yeah, but you notice how it says soundtrack, but I don't really there's not much music in this movie. Really, the soundtrack has got a lot of wind. You hear the wind. It's like a character in the movie almost.
The soundtrack is desolation.
Desolation, exactly. It's a very nihilistic film, by the way. It's got a very nihilistic outlook on stuff, I think.
Yep.
The West Roman fell in the Goths about 1,000 years earlier. Okay. Yeah, that's when they split up. The Roman Empire was split up at one point, and then
yep.
Okay. Yeah. And then they had like the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. Yeah. And then they got the Goths. I remember that. I watched the documentary about that.
I love history.
Welcome to the History Channel, everyone.
History is my thing. So
yeah, I do too. I love history. I actually, that's probably was my best class in school.
Sid.
So when it opens up, you have this like Tommy Lee Jones reminiscing, like we said, about the old days.
Yep.
And then we cut forward and you see a police officer pulling over a car. And inside the car is Javier Bardem. He gets out and they arrest him. He goes with no contest. They take him. Well, then he go back to the jail and he's sitting there distracted, talking on the phone about, we'll hold him. He was running I guess he ran his name, right? And they said, well, he'll be right here. And like, as soon as he gets off the phone, I don't know. He gets did he like get the cuffs back in front of him so he wasn't behind his back, right?
Yeah, because the deputy inside the police station was on the phone. He wasn't watching him.
And he strangles him with the handcuffs.
Which drove me nuts when I was watching it.
It's brutal too, because when he's hitting him right here, the chain from the cuffs is going into his neck and it starts bleeding. And then like you see the scene where he's like taking the cuffs off and there's blood in the sink, and he just walks off. He picks up he had like a cylinder tank with him, like we're talking about. And what you find out what it is like when they have a slaughterhouse and they bring the cows through it's like a conveyor line. And they put it right to the forehead, and it puts like a little bolt, flies out, air powered, right into their brain. So that's the way I know people don't like to know how the sausage and the hamburgers are made, But that is the sad truth of it. They used to use sledgehammers before that. So that made it a little bit more efficient, I guess, to kill the cows. The German tribes, yeah, the Visigoths, the Byzantine was a stronghold of the Eastern, yeah. And I always like to learn about the Roman Empire, though. Like, it's interesting. I would love to go and see the ruins in Rome. You know, that was be one of my dreams. My stepdad got to see that. So we're going to play a couple of clips.
I got to see a lot of crazy cool stuff.
It's more humane. It's still like, I would not, you know, I mean, I like hamburgers, but and steak, you know, obviously, as you can tell, but I couldn't do that. I know what I mean? I don't think I could do that job. You grew up on, okay. You're right. I know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm too sensitive of soul, I guess, to want to know how you know what I mean? I've been around my dad. He was a deer hunter.
That's a normal thing. But I think if you like, lady could probably speak to this. Once you're exposed to it over and over again, you become desensitized. You know.
Now I've seen my dad field dress a deer before. You know, so I mean, I'm aware of it. Yeah. Like I know it happens, just don't want to watch it. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't really pay attention. And I mean, that's kind of what they're bred for. And they have like a cow called the Judas cow that leads them in there down the chute or something they call it. It is part of the circle of life, you know. All right, we're gonna play some clips from the movie instead of talking about killing cows for food, but. Which you know what? All this talk about hamburgers is making me hungry. I'm just going to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know either, but I heard something about like the Judas cow or something they called it. Moo bitches. All right. Thank you for being here, lady. Fantastic. So the first thing we got is like, I think like Tommy Lee Jones is talking to him about age, you know. He's got a young, enthusiastic deputy.
I think in this movie, Chigurh represents fate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people say he's death, but whatever. And I think, of course, I don't even know if he's evil. He's just a constant. You know.
I know. Sometimes you don't even feel like he's like inevitable. He's like inevitability.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
And there's another like
they said they can't stop what's coming.
Yeah,
that's what he plays.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people that I watched some breakdowns of this movie online the other night, and one of the things they said was the Cohen brothers may have been influenced by this film in the 1950s. I think it's a French film where a knight is fighting in the Crusades and he gets wounded. He wakes up and he's faced with death, like the actual Grim Reaper with the shroud on and the sickle, right? It's a black and white film, and he tells him, I will spare your life if you can beat me in a game of chess. And they sit there and play chess against each other during the movie. And if the knight wins, he gets to live. If he loses, death takes his soul. And it kind of a metaphor for this movie. Like, you got this guy who's, I mean, Brolin, I mean, he's not a bad guy. I don't necessarily consider him a good guy. I mean, he just steals drug money. But, I mean, there wasn't nobody. They were already dead. It's not like he killed them for it, although I believe it's a foolish mistake to do it, because if somebody's got that much money and you find that much money, somebody's out there is looking for it. And they're probably – and if they've killed all these people because of that and those drugs, they're not going to give two shits about killing you.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't – I mean, obviously he got the money, but he didn't bother to check that there might have been a tracking device in the damn briefcase. Of course,
and that's what.
Yeah, he might not have thought.
That's one of those things I thought there was a slight incongruency in the movie, was that Brolin's character is not stupid. He's a Vietnam vet. You know, he's obviously got hunting skills and survival skills, what I call street skills, right?
Yeah.
You would think he would have enough, you know, I don't know, enough noodle power and street smarts to be like, I got to look through this thing to make sure there's nothing in here, you know, that can connect me to it.
But, you know, also, if you see that much money.
Yeah.
If you're having maybe he was having financial trouble too. You never know. Like, so he gets down here. He's out deer hunting. And he sees where there was just like this drug deal going bad in the middle of the desert. So and he looks in the back, and there's like a whole truckload. I guess it's cocaine or heroin or something. And he's not interested in that, obviously.
No.
And he goes to the guy. There's a guy in there that's gut shot. He's going to die. And the guy's begging for water.
Oh.
Then Brolin asks him, where's the last man standing? Because he knows there has to be money there if there's all those drugs. And the drugs are still there, so it's probably more than likely the money's still there too. Something just happened that spooked these guys, and they just shot each other and killed each other. Well, he tracks him because he's a hunter. So he tracks where this guy, he finds a guy under a tree slumped over dead. And there's a big giant briefcase full of money. So he ponders on it. He doesn't, unfortunately, he doesn't, like we said, take the money out and see what else was in there. Like, even if I didn't think there was a transponder in there, Jeff, and I was going to take that money, I would make sure there wasn't any drugs in there that I get caught with that, because I'd rather be caught with that money than the drugs by the police officer.
After seeing that
I know,
the whole war scene, the whole death scene, and then you come across the last guy with the money, I'd just hightail it out of there, because I know what's around the corner.
I probably would have went to the sheriff's office, but it's kind of an interesting situation. Though, it's kind of like one of those moral quandaries. Like, what would you do if you came across this money and you knew it was dirty money that nobody was going to miss? It wasn't from a bank robbery. It wasn't anybody's life savings. And it's kind of a moral quandary. Like, what would you actually do? I would try to call the police now, in the age I am now. But if I was in my 20s, I don't know what I would have done. I'm just going to be honest with you. Or
if you're in a hard spot, in life or whatever.
Yeah. So he gets the money. He comes back to the trailer, and his wife's in there. I love Kelly McDonald plays his wife. I like the way she does the accent. And actually, she's probably she's the most sympathetic character in the film, because she has to deal with her husband wilding out, and then she has to go on the. He just straight up says fold money, because she thinks he's full of shit, and he took the pistol off that guy, I guess, while he was out there, and then he starts realizing there was a transponder probably in this thing or something. No, what happens is, so he was a Vietnam veteran, so he's probably seen people wounded in combat before, obviously.
Maybe.
And he starts thinking about that guy he left out there that was gut shot, begging for water. He's like, well, shit. He wakes up and he's like, fills a jug of water to go back out there at night. Big mistake. Big mistake. So he gets out there and he finds the guy's already dead. And which is pretty obvious. He's been in the sun out there, no water, shot in the gut. So I wonder how long he'd been out there. And while he's out there, all of a sudden you see on the ridge these headlights come on. Because the guys that were missing this money were waiting to see what was going to happen. They weren't going to see. They were smart enough not to go down there. They stayed on that ridge looking to see if anybody would go down there. So they start chasing him, and they stick dogs on him. Right? I think it's a big Rottweiler.
Couple of pit bulls.
Well, he outsmarts him because he did have military training. He gets into like a creek bed and like follows the creek.
Starts floating down.
Yeah, he starts floating down the creek. And he gets home finally, and then he realizes, I got to get the fuck out of here. But he still doesn't check the damn briefcase to see if somebody's tracking him, which is what I would have done, but I'm paranoid. And he tells his wife he's leaving, and what he says to her is pretty ominous when she says something about, he tells her, what's he say to her? If I don't come back, tell my mom I love him. He says, your mother's dead. He's like, well, I'll tell her myself. So he knows there's a 50-50 shot. He's not making it out of here, but he's trying to keep her alive and her mother, because he knows they're not going to, like the Sicario, they're not just going to kill him. They're going to kill everybody he knows. That's how they work. Pablo Escobar, in fact, blew up an entire airliner to kill one man. So they don't care about that. They don't F around.
Yeah, that's how they work, because it's more effective. It's not as effective to tell the person that you're after, hey man, you better cough up the cash or the drugs, or I'm gonna come after you and hurt you. Because some guys are just, they don't care. What they do is say, hey, your daughter goes to Fairfield Elementary. She's in 3rd grade, and her teacher's name is Mrs. Charles. She wore a blue dress yesterday. Where's my money?
Yeah,
That's a way better motivator.
Your daughter's favorite toy is her stuffed bear.
Yep. Yeah, she keeps it in the 2nd drawer on her in her bedroom.
And there's another story I heard about Pablo Escobar, that they caught one of his servants stealing silverware at a party. He had his men tie them to a chair next to the pool, and while everybody's watching, kicked them in the pool.
I'll be back.
And he did it to prove a point. It was for everybody watching. This I don't mess around. So they're going to make an example out of people.
Don't steal from me.
So then, the sheriff, I love his name, Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, that's his name, and his deputy go out there and they find this scene and they see the dog. And I just like the deputies, all hell, they shot the dog too. And the thing about Tommy Lee Jones too is you can tell that over the last probably few years that he's been the sheriff, that he started seeing more and more of this because he seems unfazed by it. You see the reaction of the way we would feel about it through the deputy, in my opinion. Oh man, they even shot the dogs. I can't believe that. And Tommy Lee Jones is yep. He just trots right by with his horse. So you can tell he's already he's been in this job so long. And Jeff, I'm sure you can speak to this being in law enforcement. Yeah. After a while, some stuff just doesn't surprise you anymore, I assume.
You become desensitized to it.
The same thing happens to war fighters in combat. Yeah. They almost think of it when somebody dies, when the new guy shows up, they don't want to get to know him because you might not see him tomorrow. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, you start to build armor around your heart because you can't afford to have feelings, because feelings
it's not healthy, is it? It's not healthy at all.
No, it's not.
So, and this is a scene, I think we talked about this the other day, when they go into and I wish I could show the whole scene because we'll try to play enough of it to get the gist of it, but it was a 29-second clip, but the first one's an 11-second clip. They finally find out, they figure out that Llewelyn Moss, played by Brolin, is probably the one they need to go find because he's, I don't know exactly why, but I can't remember exactly, but anyway, we're going to circulate. We're looking for a man who recently drank milk. Because he knows he's long gone at this point. They're not going to find him that way. They missed him. He's frustrated. He's like, look, we already missed him. He's in the wind. We'll be lucky to see him again. He knows that. He knows this. We're lucky to see him again.
It's the sheriff's experience versus the new deputy who's in training.
Yeah.
Now the new deputy's thinking, man, we're close. We gotta do something to trap this guy.
We gotta put out an APB.
We don't have shit. We don't have shit yet.
We don't got shit yet. We just got a feeling.
Yeah.
Hold on, man. I gotta yell at Mom. We got something burning, I think.
Oh.
Hey guys, I'll be right back. I gotta run. I'll be right. Just 2 seconds.
All right, no problem. Yeah, Cali Comics says we got an APB on a man with a milk mustache.
Yeah, for real.
Because it's funny because the sheriff, as soon as he saw that the milk still had the condensation on it, he goes, "Well, that's aggravating," because he knows that means they missed Anton Chigurh just by minutes, but they don't know who he is. They have no clue, no description, no anything. There's nobody in the trailer, and they still don't have much to go on. So it's his frustration, and the deputy getting all excited, thinking, "Ooh, we're really close. We're going to catch him. We'll put it out on radio." What are you going to put out on the radio?
For real.
All right, I'm back. She'll put water in something and like if she cooked bacon or something and get it, the bowl off the what sticks to the pan, and it was smoking. I had to run in there. I didn't want the fire alarm to go off while we were sitting here talking. We have a comment. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I read Cali Comics.
Milk mustache. Yeah, that would be. I don't think that's going to work. Well, in the next clip I have, you get to see another scene where he's still the grizzled veteran versus the exuberant rookie, because he's like, "Hey, the FBI and the DA's down there at the crime scene again," and Tommy Lee Jones is kind of like, "Well, I've already seen it. I don't have to go down to see the damn thing again." You know, I think it's kind of with He's got a good point. Is there any more dead bodies out there? I don't think I need to go out there unless somebody else has been shot.
Besides, you have the county sheriff, and you said DEA and who else?
Yeah,
they're up here. So sheriff's like, well, that's their crime scene now.
Yeah, it was a valid question, Callie. Yeah, it's just like, another example of that. But okay, so he sent Chigurh. There's a guy in Dallas. He's played by, I can't remember his name, but he's also the blind guy in Country for Old Men. Brother, Where Art Thou? And he also was the boss, the guy that owned the radio station on News Radio, if you remember. I can't remember his name. Fine character actor. He's been in a lot of movies.
Oh, yeah.
About. Well, so he says
he played Milton in Office Space.
Yeah. But he also decides to send another guy played by Woody Harrelson, who's also a Vietnam veteran. He's a bounty hunter. But he knows about Chigurh. And the guy says, well, what kind of man is this Chigurh guy? I think Chigurh actually, did he not even work for him? It's like he heard something about this and he was like going to just do it on his own or something. I don't know. It was something like that.
No, it was a matter of redundancy. The cartel that wants the money sent several. You know,
so basically, Woody Harrelson's a competitor he's got. Mm-hmm. And he asked, but Woody Harrelson knows Chigurh. He asked him about him, and this is pretty ominous. This reminds me of the scene in John Wick when one of the Russian guy's dad tells him it's not what you did, it's who you did it to. Because I don't know if you know who you're messing with, and this is where you got to realize that Javier Bardem's character is not to be trifled with.
Just how dangerous.
He's bad.
Compared to what? The bubonic plague. And you know what's interesting about Woody Harrelson in this film is he is from Texas, but also his dad was a contract killer who was in prison when he was a kid. So he probably has a feel for that kind of thing. Like I remember him talking about it when he was in another one of my favorite films, which some people don't like it, but I just like how chaotic it is. The Natural Born Killers. So he got to use that to prepare for his role a little bit, because his dad was a hitman. I mean, you can look it up. His dad was a legit hitman for I don't know who, but yeah, it's Bill. I think it's Bill from King of the Hill. Yeah, he was on a lot of Mike Judge. He was in. He was the guy. What's the guy that told everybody? And then you told me I don't like this, but I have the swing line stapler.
Yeah,
I love that guy. Milton. Yeah. Jay, you're right. Harrison's dad was a straight up gangster. That's a fact. It's legit. And but luckily we had Woody Harrelson decided to go into acting, and we get to see him watch it, in film. So good for that. And then there's another. Okay. Some of the scenes are kind of discombobulated now, so I apologize for that. But there's because I couldn't find enough short. There is a scene where he's in a hotel, right? And Brolin starts looking through the money, and he looks and sees this transponder thing beeping. He's like, oh, shit. And not much longer after that, he turns the lights off, and you see footsteps at the door. And so also the tank that he uses, that Chigurh uses, is kind of a multi-purpose tool. He uses to shoot the locks out. He uses the air compressor gun thing to knock the bolt out of the lock so he can get in the door. Mm-hmm. So he does that, and he comes in, they have a little shootout. Brolin gets hit. He goes out the window or something or gets away from him, and he tries to commandeer a car and tells the guy, I'm not going to hurt you. But the guy didn't really have to be worried about Brolin because Javier
goes.
Yeah, the pink mist, right?
Yep.
Oh, shit, Mo. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while. I tried to revisit the other day. It's still a good movie. But you know what? It's not. I mean, this is not a feel-good movie by any means of the stretch of the imagination. But it is a very riveting movie. Now it probably loses its kind of luster a couple of watches in because he's not going to make it. But but I read the book, I already knew what was going to happen. But because you're wanting Brolin to, man, let's hope he gets there. You know what I mean?
You're rooting for him.
Great for it, right? And we're going to have this great climactic shootout at the end of the film, but we never get it. We never get that. We never get it at all.
2007, Lady Fantastic.
Yeah, it came out in 2007. Yeah. And this movie doesn't F around either. Like, they get right into it immediately. They establish what kind of person Chigurh is from the beginning. There's no doubt.
He is just like you said. He's in inevitability. He's a what do you call it? A constant force.
He's almost like, it reminds me almost of the Terminator.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
The first Terminator, like he keeps coming,
he's programmed.
And Michael Biehn tells Linda Hamilton's character, he doesn't feel any pain. He has no emotions. He doesn't feel any sympathy. You can't negotiate with him. You can't bargain with him. All he does is kill. Same thing with this guy in this film. You can tell.
Speaking to that though, I like when Brolin's character Llewelyn realizes that that's what he is, and when you're dealing with something like that, you can't win being on the defensive. You got to go on the offensive.
Yeah. So he gets shot up. He gets shot to hell, right? And he gets across the border in Mexico, and he's all bloody, bleeding out. And he sees this elderly Mexican gentleman, and he's like, "El Doctor," and he pulls out like a bloody $100 bill. And so the guy takes him to the doctor. I'm assuming he probably paid him more. I don't know. I guess you could take. I don't know if I'd want to take a bloody $100 bill. I don't know if you could get it out of that or not, but that's just my own picadillos. But then, okay, we got another comment here. Yeah. All right. So, Woody Harrelson tracks him down. Or no, wait a minute. No, here's the doctor.
Médico. Por favor.
Oh, it was a bunch of mariachi singers, is what it was, wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a little bit rusty. Sorry, guys. Well, it's the doctor, and he didn't say El Doctor. He says Medico. Woody Harrelson is a bounty hunter, so he's able to track him down. It wasn't that hard. He kind of jokes when he goes, well, it wasn't that hard. All I had to do was follow the blood. You're lucky to be alive. And he talks to him about, because he tries to reason with him, because they're both.
I like it.
You have to come look for me at all. Okay, I'm missing a lot.
I think that's the moment where he's like, you know what?
We will do Red Song.
You know what I know what I'm dealing with here, and I'm not gonna keep running like a scared rabbit. I'm going on the hunt.
Like Red Sonja will be on here, but you might not like what show it's on. It might be on Bad Cinema because I have some gripes about that movie. But even though I love Brigitte Nielsen, who is wonderful in that movie, I don't know. We might put it on Good Cinema. Who knows? I don't know. It's depending on what mood
We're
I'm in.
focused on that old No Country for Old Men right now, though.
What?
No.
What did you say?
No.
No more running time. No more running. No time for the. Yeah. But, the thing is, we never get that showdown, though. We never really get the showdown because they obviously sent some more guys after him. We'll get into that later. I'm almost done with the clips. This is running longer than I imagined it was going to. Well, Chigurh grows frustrated. The guys in Dallas had sent all these other people. He's like, why are you sending all these different tools when you only need one tool to do the job, which is me? And, of course, he is a giant tool because he goes around killing people. But anyway, so he pops a cap in the dude at Dallas right in front of the guy's assistant. And then the assistant's like, are you going to kill me? And then we got another scene where the other sheriff of this town's talking to him. They're like, you got two police officers, law enforcement officers talking shop, swapping war stories.
I like when Tommy Lee Jones' character talked. I think he talks to his uncle or his
his cousin. It's his cousin.
His cousin. Yeah.
Another fine character actor. I can't remember his name, but he's like got all this talking about what if I could save this. He's telling about this case, and he's like, you can't stop what's coming.
Yeah.
He was talking about he told him a story about their grandfather or their great grandfather.
Yep.
Shot in the back in like 1909 by somebody, and his wife buried him the next day. He's like, you can't stop what's coming.
It's true.
And it's like death. It's going to come for us all one day, whether we like it or not. It's an uncomfortable thing. I don't like. I know that we're going to lose people, and one of these days, the people that love us are going to lose us, and you can't prevent it. And if that coin tosses up, and you call the wrong heads or tails, you know, like he does that guy. There's another scene we didn't talk about. He's in that gas station. It's such a intense, creepy scene when he's like, "Call it." And he's like, "What do I stand to lose?" He's like, "Or win?" He goes, "Everything." And the guy, and Chigurh's asking him questions like, "So, how long you had the store here?" "Oh, me and my wife been here for 30 years or something like that." "Oh, do you like working here?" And all these like random questions.
He finds out that the guy married into.
Yeah, so you married into it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I think he had like a little bit of disgust with that.
Yeah, it kind of didn't sit well with him, right? So he wants to play a little game with this man. And it just, even the way he eats, he's got that snack and he's going like this. He's like, and he never loses eye contact with him. It's just creepy as hell. And when he calls it right, fortunately, this old man didn't, call it heads, and it was heads. And he says, "You keep that quarter. Don't let it get mixed in with the others. That's a very special quarter."
Yeah.
And I don't know how that guy, even that poor dumb bastard, knew how close he come to dying, but we got a couple more clips, short ones I'll play.
Now, who'd do such a thing? How do you defend against it? Yeah.
You don't defend, you go on the attack.
And a lot of times with law enforcement, Jeff, and I'm sure I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying this, since I've never worked in law enforcement. I've known some friends that have, and I know you have. A lot of times you're just cleaning up the mess of what happens afterwards, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately.
We come, clean up the mess, and then start working backwards to go after the responsible people.
Yeah, he wanted to kill that guy so bad he couldn't stand it, Callie. He was hoping it would land on tails. So then we're coming to the end. Now, this is the part that I really hated, was because I like Carolyn McDonald, and I don't think she deserved what happened to her. Although I think her husband, Llewelyn, played by Brolin, kind of sealed her fate when he went after it, when he said, "I'm not gonna turn myself in," because he made him an offer: "I'll kill you and I'll spare your wife." But Brolin had suffered from a lot of hubris. You know what I mean? Like he thought, I can conquer this guy.
Yep.
Well, so he goes in there and he does the same thing. Call it. And she goes, "I'm not going to call it. I don't give a shit." She says that she just buried her mother. Her husband's dead. She don't give a shit no more.
Yeah.
And you can't blame her. I guess I don't know if I could have been I'll tell you what. She's almost one of the bravest people in the movie for just being like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
And he kills her, unfortunately. And when he walks out, though, the hands of fate don't always swing for everyone else and not him. They do swing for him too. And but unfortunately, he doesn't die. He gets hit by a car and it breaks his I think he's got a bone sticking out, and these boys are like, "Holy!"
Just a random traffic accident.
Yeah, and then he walks away into the shadows. And I imagine, I often wondered what happened to Chigurh after this film. But you know what probably happened to him eventually? He probably met the same fate that everybody else that ran into him did eventually.
Hey, you can't stop what's coming.
That's right. And like so he was just out there, still out there somewhere at the end of this movie. But I'm sure you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So
you at least start to tip the scales,
Yeah. Maybe what we get at the end of it is like a hint that his luck's got to run out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and when you're in any type of work where you can catch a bullet, you start tipping the scales out of your favor. No matter how much you train or how good you think you are, the odds start to stack against you.
Now we come to the end of this film. And it doesn't end with, like we said, doesn't end with a shootout. The bad guy doesn't get his. And then, like, after you see Tommy Lee Jones is finally retired. Hey, Tony.
Oh man, you got to watch it.
You need to watch this movie. It's a brilliant film. Definitely, Tony. When you watch it, let me know what you think of it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know. I want to know what you think of it because I think you'll like it.
Is one of those movies that sucks you into it.
Yeah,
It's like you're there.
And
I apologize, guys. I gotta run now because I have to be done.
Okay, I'll finish up. I'll just finish up what I'm saying.
Great movie though.
There's an end scene, Will.
Yep.
And Tommy Lee Jones is talking to his wife. He's retired now, and he says, "I had a dream the other night. And I saw my dad. My dad died 20 years ago. I'm older than he is now," he says, but he was carrying fire in a horn. See, like the cowboys back in the day, Will, they used to carry embers in like a little bullhorn that was hollowed out to the next campsite so they didn't have to use the flint, and everything to start a fire again when they were going to another camp. And he says he was carrying it up to the next camp, and he was going to be waiting there for me. And I think what that symbolizes is his dad had went on ahead of him in heaven or in the afterlife, you know what I mean? And was building fire and was going to be waiting for him to show up.
Yep.
And because he knew he's getting older, and one of those days, keep the fire burning. Somebody had to keep the fire burning, Callie. And then he says, then I woke up, and the movie goes black, and that's the end of the movie. And I think it just symbolizes like the inevitability of life. Eventually, we all get old. Eventually, we all pass away. But I give the movie 2 thumbs up. I'm pretty sure Jeff did too. I would too if he was still here. And Will, what do you think? I know you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it in years, but I don't think I've seen it fully. But yeah, it sounds like a great movie.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. This episode of Good Cinema, and then we got some stuff to tell you guys about that I got coming up. All right. Now, tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, if any of you guys want to hang out, I will send you the link. Just DM me on Instagram at Heroes for Hire Comic Club. We got the Comic Lounge at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. We just hang out and talk. We show some books and collectibles we just picked up recently. And it's a good time, isn't it, Will? I think it is.
Yeah, I'll be there. Just send me the link.
Will be there. I'm sure maybe Random Breeds will be there. I'm thinking Jeff will be there. Maybe we get Lady Fantastic and Comic Verse to be there too. And then on Sunday, I have 2 shows. At noon Eastern, I have the Comic Conversations Wake and Bake. It's going to be me talking with Razor Comics. So that'll be interesting. And then we have Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern the same day. We have Sunday Super Show Extravaganza where we talk about the new Comic Book Day previews and the trending books of the week and out of context comic panels, which is my favorite segment. I think it's Will's favorite segment too.
Yeah. And
then we have Monday at noon Eastern Bad Cinema, and we'll be reviewing the movie, the Russ Meyer film from 1965, Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. Really crazy movie, but there you go. That's what we're going to be doing for Jeff and Will. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. And next week it'll be Conan the Barbarian. So please tune in for that. But until next time, true believers, Excelsior.
Come, son of Jarrell, kneel before Zod! Snitchy boochies.